douglAR Politics. We're starting shortly. On time, facts, information, analysis. douglAR Politics. We are live.
This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. We start on time. And one time we realized that Noel Garcia and Keith Rowley have no regard, no respect, no care for cricket, for sport, especially when a man who has gone to the beyond fought for his team, Merry Boys in Diego Martin. Keith Rowley pretended to take up the fight just so his boy, Noel Garcia of Rowley Las Alturas fame, Rowley as Minister of Housing fame, $1.8 billion of projects incomplete across the board. These two clowns, then you all elevated these two to control of the treasury and they want to tax you more. Noel Garcia of Skinner Park fame. Now, hear what's going on with the treatment of Merry Boys. And this is just an example. This is in the constituency of Keith Christopher Rowley. This is just epitomizes the kind of disrespect, disregard that this man has for citizens and his constituents. Let me read this, and it's there. Newspaper, Newsday, Tuesday, March 12, 2024. Unfair treatment of Merry Boys. This year, this is an article, a column by one of the greatest of all time, Mr. Brian Davis extraordinaire, legendary cricketer, coach, mentor, father, grandfather, just a man who has imparted knowledge and love for cricket for over 6 decades of brilliance. Brian Davis says, unfair treatment of Merry Boys. This year is a sad one for one of Trinidad's favorite cricket teams, Merry Boys. Their ground, situated in the verdant valley of Diego Martin, is one of picturesque beauty, surrounded by the idyllic setting of the foothills of the northern range. To play there was always a cricketer's delight, says Brian Davis. The plot, characterized by elegance and sophistication. This plot, this plan, this design was developed by the Urban Development Corporation, UDCOT. Now, what he didn't realize is that was the original, was under the sport company. And when I was there as the minister, I asked the engineers in the sport company, what's going on with that project down there? What's the kickback? And they said, well, sir, the contractor, who's a golfing buddy of Rowley, we later found out, said that he wanted $62 million for a foundation that he had done. I said, well, you all are the engineers, go and see, go and analyze, give a report on how much, what value of work was done, and you all pay the money. When they said they did the analysis, 7 million was maximum value. Well, I said, and the board said, that's all they could offer. The contractor refused to accept it. So the project languished until Rowley Emailgate lies with Stuart Smallpin Young gerrymandering 2015 election with an hour extra with the EBC telling PNM. And immediately Rowley takes the project from Sport Company to UDCOT, to Noel Garcia. And I remember seeing Noel Garcia coming out the Massey stores, Alice Glen, boy, when they was now moving from paper and plastic bag into some big bag. And I want to know where this man get this big bag from. And I do so and I squinted because I didn't have my glasses yet. And I swear I see Rowley name on the bag coming out Alice Glen Massey stores. But he put the project straight into UDCOT. He didn't care about Daryl Smith, who was the Minister of Sport. Then he didn't care about Sport Company. He didn't care about Michael Phillips, who was chairman then, or Dinanat Ramnarine, whoever. He moved it across to the number one money spender, Noel Garcia. And just so, Rowley's golfing friend knocks the ball with him. The project just went ahead. And I've been asking the question, Rowley, did UDCOT pay that 30-something to $62 million for foundation when the engineers at the Sport Company said maximum value, maximum work done was $7 million? How did that project move forward? And they didn't go and retender, They just continue with the partner or Rowley contract. And then it went up to $120 million. That's the Mary Boys thing. I'll just give you a backstory. Let me get back to Brian Davis now. And the disrespect to, and there's the man himself, the Honorable Brian Davis, writing about the disrespect to cricket at the Mary Boys ground in Diego Martin. He said it was the Urban Development Corporation which has been given the authority to govern the use of the property, regardless of whether it has knowledge of sport. This is the authority that banished Mary Boys from using their accustomed venue to participate in the Premiership 1 tournament of the TTCB. It must have been such a blow for the proud club to be thrown out of their home after feeling justifiably pleased at contesting in the top division once more. This must have been a real shocker to the team. Because of these problems, the popular Diego Martin club has had to forfeit all their reserve team matches and put their developmental sessions on hold as they cannot find a suitable venue. So the development, the young people, the up-and-coming talents who could earn a living, could take their families out of poverty, all of that shut down in the constituency of Rowley. That is to show you how heartless, how careless this man, and you all vote for that. How can you vote for a hater? How can you vote for one who hates his own? How can you vote for someone who does not care, who disrespects anybody and everything, from sport to women to children to individuals to communities to music to soca to calypso, doubles, everything he disrespects, and you all take your finger and vote for that? No, you have to really think carefully, Brian Davis continued, and to think that only a couple of years ago, West Indies first-class cricket was being played at this attractive location, and down in South, Skinner Park, the same Noel Garcia and Rowley moved Skinner Park from a World Cup FIFA qualifying venue to a sweat match. You can't even sweat, you can't even play. You could play under 15 and under 10. Under 11 girls could play in Skinner Park. But you could sing a set of dotish PNM calypso down there and wave toilet paper. Here is a club with a solid fan base, representing the populous community of Diego Martin since 1964. You think Rowley care? The bottom line is, had UDCOT had any interest in the game of cricket, a way should have been found to encourage Mary Boys to continue at their ground. This is a sad story. That's from Brian Davis. a passionate cricket lover. No politics, just pure sense to show the disrespect. I telling y'all that politics is very serious. Because when you see this, and this is just not Merry Boys, it's TT Pro League, it's Super League, it's national team football, it's swimming, it's our footballers playing with jersey with next man name on it, it's hockey not getting respected, it's no AstroTurf, it's all sporting federations not getting funding, having to do curricue and barbecue, basketball not playing in international tournament because they couldn't pay their fees. Across the board, it's total disrespect. How can you vote for that? Is TTCB investigating itself? Well, from 1 p.m. to the next, and yes, man, that's what we talking about. Asim PNM Basarat, you're fitting nice in the PNM. You see dictatorship, constitutional majority, and abuse of constitution, power grabbing, whistleblowers pelt out. You are the perfect PNM Asim Basarat. But don't worry, for Scott done had the report. Is TTCB investigating itself? Asked Anthony Morgan of Pitty Valley. Last week, following a chain of events at the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, I, like many other commentators, was compelled to write to the editor raising concerns and calling for answers. On March 8, 2024, the Trinidad Guardian carried the story of TTCB media release seeking to dispel these concerns and provide an explanation for the seemingly bizarre action of removing the treasurer after he reported to them possible fraud amounting to over $500,000 at the TTCB. However, as a discerning observer, I am still not appeased by this explanation. Well, I'm glad that, and you are very correct. But when it starts at the top with Keith Christopher Rowley and a man dancing bareback when the PNM stole the election in 2015 and singing, using racist epithets that he loved Rowley and he loves Stuarty Smallpin, and if he loves them like how hog love mud, and he want to make one his wife and all of that. That was Nazim Bash, the man who had a company, that there was an investigation and there was an inquiry into how come so much oil started to come out of the same hole. So it had this much coming out, and then a PNM failed candidate for Superior, Dioki Singh, was in charge of the car and the pump here, and somehow when Dioki Singh was there, they turned on this pump and poof, about this amount of oil come out per day. And Franklin Khan went in the parliament and boast. Now, if that was real oil coming out there, I believe in merit. Right? Look, Dioki Singh there, PNM, where is he? And why is Petrotrin shut down? Why we can't investigate? Get a statement from he. Get an investigation. Get a forensic audit into how much pump pressure, how much oil could come out per hour, and if only a certain amount could come out per hour, and X amount more than that come out, then somebody had to get locked up. But what happened? Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of the country, who was in charge of selecting the Minister of Energy, who was in charge of approving the board of Petrotrin, Keith Christopher Rowley as Prime Minister said he was the best friend. He was so, when he heard about the accusations that oil was coming up all over the place, he called his friend and said, "Hey man, what's this about?" And the man told him, "Nah man, I don't know nothing about that." And Rowley remained as Prime Minister, remained in charge of the Ministry of Energy and the Minister of Energy, and he fired that minister, replaced that minister with our next one. He kept in charge of Petrotrin, he kept in charge of the board. He lied and said that the board told him to shut down Petrotrin when Winfred Espine went under oath in the Labour Court and said, "I said no such thing." Solomon McKinsley and Lashley report said, "Do not shut down Petrotrin." Rowley shut down Petrotrin of his own volition by himself after telling the population, "I am not closing down Petrotrin." All of that continued. The investigation continued. Our Commissioner of Police then, Gary Griffith, asked the PNM for money to get a forensic auditor to audit and so on. Petrotrin shut down. All the security and all was removed. So if your police want a statement from the man who was on post on the 23rd of July, X amount, and who signed the, Yoki Singh signed the book, he gone. Them fired, new fellas come in. If the pump man was there, who collect all the evidence, who where the GPS, where the cars, who record, how much gas was put, where the car went, where the record, the whole investigation, poof, because Petrotrin closed down, staff gone, everybody gone, police can't make no case, plus the government ain't spend no money to get no analysis, even though the PNM board under Winfred Espine had 3 separate audits showing that exorbitant amount of oil just miraculously came out of wells that were producing at this level. They just start to produce up here. Like they was running 11 seconds for 100, and the next day they run 9.61 just behind Bolt, touching Bolt heels. That's what took place, and Rowley stayed in charge of the entire process, even though he told you, that is my friend. So Rowley was in charge of investigating his friend. Rowley remained in charge of all. And then when they shut down Petrotrin, Rowley put his lawyer in charge of the key part that would be the main part to be investigated, or to investigate and to provide evidence and case against his friend. And then it went to arbitration. And when the arbitration came out, the senior counsel paid for by the government to protect your money said, hey, appeal. And Rowley's own personal lawyer said, no, we hear the senior counsel now, but we have some junior counsel here, we're going to take advice. And then they did not appeal, but they appealed a little child who had brain damage from lack of medical attention, and he get a little money. The PNM appealed that to not pay the child who in a wheelchair, but they did not appeal Rowley friend. And you know what the settlement did? The settlement gave Mr. Dancer Boy, Whiner Boy, who loved Rowley like hog love mud. If you could even find that, I didn't even ask for that, but I want to remind the fellas and the people, he likes Stuarty, and he want to make Stuarty his wife when PNM win election. He end up getting, on top of everything, $118 million of your money. And
this is for Dr. T. Crowley. And the youth
man, this lucky fella.
We call it, I'm celebrating the PNM celebration now. So I just give my love it. Just give my love, dear boy. If you're not here, well, you might have been my wife. And Rowley, you doing it. I'm not going to know this. Keep going, Rowley. Yeah. Why I love what you like. Come, come, boy. And the next come out to celebrate the claiming of PNM candidates and of PNM people. What do you come by like this? Study by what? What's key? What does it? Or it's when they are of the mind. But now who do you want it to? Celebrating. Ready to PNM. Ready to PNM.
That is who you vote for. And all you people who say race in politics, all you proud black African people, that's what you vote for. And he get, after all, cause no investigation, minister get fired, board get fired, Petrotrin shut down, no statement, no forensic audit, no check, no Yoki Singh, no statement, no GPS, no investigation, no, and then Rowley choose his own police commissioner, DCP Dunce, when he collapsed the police service commission. So all of that done, and then that man get $118 million cash in your money, plus a further 10-year contract on different oil fields valued at $950 million. He could dance, he could whine, he could love, and he could vote for Rowley and Stuarty. But you, normal citizens all over this country, who suffering to put food on the table, who deciding whether to drive your car X amount or Y amount because the fuel subsidy gone, you who had to fill out property tax form now and pay more for that man, your property tax, He getting 3 years full if property tax full. Rowley not taxing here, you know. Rowley not taxing industry, you know. Rowley not taxing commercial. Rowley not taxing all them KFC, you know. Rowley not taxing warehouse. He not taxing big business. He not taxing industry. Taxing property tax on you. And y'all vote for that to say what? That we black, and somebody say they have a problem between black and Indian. When Trinidad and Tobago had problem with black and Indian? Who created that? Where that? Because I grow up here all the time and it ain't have problem with that. It have problem with dotish and discourteous. We might have problem with selfish and ungrateful. But that come in all shades, all colors, all ethnicities, all religions. But the PNM come to tell you something about black. Now, if you was black and you get 118 million and you get an investigation scuttled because a whole refinery shut down and police can't investigate, and you get your own commissioner of police to not further the investigation, and you get a new board, and you get Rowley lawyer to make sure that things nice and cool, and you get a further 10-year contract worth 900 and something million, totaling $1.1 billion. Well, you should wind bareback and vote for Rowley too. But the problem is you don't get nothing. You just get sufferation. Rowley take your laptop, he take your sport funding, he take your culture, he make the road bad, he trying to take money out of your pocket by putting up camera. He built up $185 million roundabout day. A kind of flyover that nobody does use. But the design so poorly, he come and make and going in Diego Martin in his constituency. The speed limit is 50 kilometers. And I hear they put up camera now so that you could get speeding ticket, $1,000 ticket in your mailbox. All you ever try to drive 50 kilometers per hour? Seriously. On a highway going past Westmall, past Cocorite. All of y'all just try to do it. I tried to do it. You cannot even touch the accelerator. In fact, it is so dangerous you could fall asleep. I could snore and go into dream world at 50 kilometers per hour. 50 kilometers per hour is nearly, I could probably run faster than that. That's the speed limit now that they want to charge you ticket going down into Diego Martin West on the highway because they built a dotish roundabout that had too little space for $185 million so that you could possibly reach Westmall quicker. Now, if you're dead in and you need to reach West Shore, you still have to do the whole drive and go down by Mukurapo Road and come back, you know. So if you have a heart attack, you go dead before you reach West Shore. But if you need to buy cricks and cheese by Westmall or Massey Thursday, you could reach fast so your belly wouldn't grumble. That is PNM. So my brother, Mr. Anthony Morgan, don't be amazed that TTCB, Asim PNM Basarat, is investigating himself to himself, from himself, and throwing out whistleblower. Rowley, your prime minister, his prime minister did that. He said, that man is my friend, and then he continued to oversee the entire investigation, to impact it, to ensure his people were there, his lawyer was there, his company men were there, that the Petrotrin shut down, that nothing could be done, that police didn't get resources. So what's Basarat just following the PNM playbook? Council condemns desecration. The desecration and robbery of a tabernacle of prayer church in Port of Spain last Friday has been condemned by the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelists and so on. Trinidad and Tobago, there's a war going on between good and evil. Imagine people robbing church twice in 2 days, equipment to praise the Lord, you know, to praise God. But when you have a Obia man, right? When you have witchcraft, Rowley boasts about witchcraft versus God. You're seeing it in the SSA now. Rowley, the pathological liar, the self-proclaimed witchcraft purveyor who put spirit lash on Patrick Manning, is fighting against a man of God and the pastor. Well, to the pastor, I say you must talk. If there is a PNM minister that there's intelligence that they're facilitating crime, you must speak out, because people are dying across the board. This country, there's an evil over it. Now we're seeing something happening, like we have a serial killer that has just been on earth? What is this madness going on in Trinidad and Tobago? I need 11-year-old girl walking down the road and sick, evil madmen like devils on earth grab a 11-year-old girl, kidnap her and gang rape an 11-year-old, a bag of bones, matchstick, a little baby. Something evil is all you're not seeing it. And it all happened after y'all elected this man. And some of y'all don't understand, this is not no fabrication. This is not no concoction. Anil Roberts never lies on Rowley. That's why Rowley cannot sue me or take me to court, because I do not lie. The number one defense to defamation is truth. Listen to this very carefully. This is Keith Christopher Rowley, the Prime Minister that some of you dip your finger for, speaking to the public, openly boasting about having dealt with the occult and witchcraft to deal with Patrick Manning for having put him out of the cabinet. The man was boast. Y'all didn't hear this? Y'all think this is a game? What kind of evil, sick, nasty, wicked human being would say this in public? I detest Rowley. I think he's the lowest form of scum. But not one day all you go come here and see me wish bad on him. In fact, I wish he lived long, because he needs to see what he has done. He needs to see the people of Trinidad and Tobago thrive and happy and survive and earn a living and have foreign exchange and create jobs and children's education go up. He has to see it for 100 more years. What could be done with a good, intelligent prime minister rather than an evil, wicked witchcraft purveyor? All you listen to this carefully. This is Keith Rowley. Like, all you don't understand, listen to this man talk about another human being. Run it.
I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall very close to Liquor 2. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it. Remember I was in the cabinet? I took issue over the behavior of Calder Hart and Udicup. And what happened to me? I was put out of the cabinet. The person who put me out regretted it.
It can't be just me. It cannot be. Forget politics, forget anything, What kind of human being is that? What kind? That a man is fighting for his life, suffering stroke, fighting to live. And another human being will go on a platform and celebrate the other's illness and boast that he was responsible for putting him into that feeble state. Illness. That is Keith Christopher, nasty, evil, bully, Rowley. And you will really think about it. Look at your children now, especially all your people. You could be PNM, that your business. But that is PNM. Patrick Manning was PNM too. Look if it's PNM. And you really dip your finger for that scumbag called Rowley. Look at your children. Look at your grandmother. Look at your auntie. And understand what kind of human being is Rowley, who would wish such evil upon another human being. And then you all wonder why evil abounds in this country like that, blood flowing everywhere. 4 men just murdered in Mayaro, men planted in the garden and the field. Just cut down like nothing. School violence every day. Children stabbing, beating girls, young girls, future mothers, all in the road, pulling hair, fighting, skirt up here, blouse bust, all in the road. Not one, all across Trinidad and Tobago, children being murdered. Murderers killing man, holding his 6-year-old daughter in broad daylight, kill a man, holding it. You ought to find something evil. And you didn't hear, we're going to play that again. I want you to understand, this is not no concoction and fabrication. This is Keith Rowley on a platform boasting that he from Mason Hall near Lekoto where it had witchcraft. And Manning put him out. Look what happened to Manning. He regretted it. The man boasting about Manning's infirmity. You all really run it again. Or you listen to that is Rowley.
I want to tell you something. I'm from Mason Hall in Tobago. Mason Hall very close to Lekoto. The last time I was put out of anywhere for anything, the person who put me out regretted it. Remember I was in the cabinet? I took issue over the behavior of Calder Hart and UDCOP. And what happened to me? I was put out of the cabinet. The person who put me out regretted it.
And he's saying he took issue with the behavior of Calder Hart because Calder Hart didn't give his favorite contractor, didn't win a contract. But Rowley as Prime Minister approved through Prime Ministerial approval the crooked money that he called crooked, which Bridgemans, which reached over 285 million crooked money. Rowley gave the approval and he lied and told the people of Tobago that it went through the normal cabinet process. He gave the approval over the phone for the Charter Party agreement of crooked money. Rowley's ministers bought the Galleon's Passage for 120 million. Where you ever hear ministers procuring? Rowley and Smallpin went down in Australia and procured 1.5 billion in vessels. Where you ever hear about that? Calder Hart never did that. Rowley worse than Calder Hart. Rowley put his own lawyer in charge of Heritage. He put his own friend and them on 7 boards. Ingrid Lashley on 9 boards. All his Chinese gate people. He give Gilbert Peterson bunkering contract. Gilbert Peterson talking and telling people about indemnity. Gilbert Peterson is a bunkerer from senior council. All your money, Noel Garcia in charge. They say Calder Hart. Noel Garcia in charge of airport, hospital, central block, health facility, every house in Trinidad and Tobago, Red House, President's House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago, every sports stadium in the country, community center, fire station, police station, anything and everything to be built. Building for health center, administration building, building to administer poor people, social development building, all Noel Garcia. And this Crown Rowley say he took issue with Calder Hart because Calder Hart was corrupt or controlling what? And y'all take that basket from this email gate liar, this Delcy gate liar as Jubal Chavez, this police service commission gate liar, this critical liar in Bridgemans, this total, complete liar and fabricator. But he took issue with Calder Hart. Calder Hart was an angel compared to Noel Garcia and Rowley. Calder Hart, UDCOT, he only had them building in the waterfront and so on. Noel Garcia and UDCOT have everything. When Munilal asked Rowley why he put UDCOT under the office of the Prime Minister, Rowley said in Parliament and lied and said he did not do that. And the Gazette showed 13 days before Munilal asked the question that the only person could change portfolios is the Prime Minister. That he moved UDCOT from under housing to the office of the Prime Minister. And it was at that time that Smallpin brother Angus Young, the little Ratstail Company on the avenue next to Frankie's Day. He got his first public sector contract of 180 million loan to you from Unicode, Noel Garcia under Rowley, Office of the Prime Minister, and Small Pin under Office of Prime Minister, and Rowley saying he take offense to call the heart. And all you vote for that? If Small Pin vote for PNM, he should. His brother got in the first 4 years $4.2 billion in work. His father got 15 million by 8. That is over 120 million in the IFC per year. Ewart Williams resigned, we don't know why. And Small Pin have all he perks. He have special branch. He's the Minister of Energy, the only Minister of Energy in history has special branch. You paying for special branch to protect Small Pin. So if Small Pin and Angus Small Pin brother and Richard Small Pin vote PNM, they're supposed to. But not you, who can't get your money from CPEP. 2 fortnights now CPEP workers get paid. Not you who can't get your laptop. Not you who children represented the country and you can't get no money, you have to have barbecue. Not you who can't drive your car because Colmember take away the fuel subsidy 6 times and laugh at you. Not you who go in and pay property tax after you work hard to set up your own property and they're not charging the rich people. For you to vote Rowley, something had to be wrong with you. Nassim Bush, yes man, AV Oil, his daughter was a senator, he's supposed to vote Rowley. Noel Garcia, he should vote Rowley. A.A. Kwamina and the Garcia clan, kangaroo by kangaroo by kangaroo, them should vote Rowley. But you, the people, the masses, who cannot even go to the grocery without getting robbed, all you should run Rowley out of town. Political analysts, no general election before budget. But the only person news they could find to be a political analyst and to come to tell we about election is Derek Ramsamouge. What happened with he? Ain't he had some case in Suriname? What happened with that? There are no political scientists that not on charges in another territory. Yeah? Or you'll just so have your people who will give the message that you want to keep an incompetent, corrupt PNM government in charge. Why all you had this Ramsamouge clown still? That's all you could get? Tell we don't want to hear your opinion on election and where you tell we what going on where he get charged. Where that case reach? He innocent? What happened? We don't know. We don't want to hear his opinion on election, right? Because we know what kind of thing. The next thing you're going to do is bring Vishnu Bishram and Napta. Hey, people, all you're getting smarter, because social media. Guardian Media Limited is heading for a $14.6 million loss for the year. TV6 ratings down. CNC3, the brew not brewing, is Balize brew. The ratings advertising down. Newspapers getting thin so. Express getting so frustrated they're starting to print the truth. Because of you, the people. Move this clown now. Doma, worried repeated disruptions at port may soon impact the economy. Gregory Aboud, it's going to soon impact the economy? Or the actions at the port, the delays, the abject total inefficiency at the port has not been decimating business pre-COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID? That has caused inflation as people have to pay extra for day by day as the goods are stuck there. And now, when workers are fighting for their 12%, when the Dwayne and them say nothing for you but 4%, but one set of workers say, boy, let me try to fight. Never mind the other leaders sell out and sell out all their workers for 4% to go and knock glass in Balize house and drink scotch and eat shrimps. But Gregory Aboud, you don't find it may soon impact the economy, or the economy has been impacted already. And then I also heard you, Mr. Gregory Aboud, saying that the government and the opposition should get together to fight crime and to bring solutions. Gregory Aboud, you are a very intelligent fellow. Do you know what the Westminster system is? Do you know what the first past the post system is? Do you know that the Prime Minister in our Westminster system is the most powerful political position other than a dictator in the world? Do you know that in the Westminster system, the opposition has no authority to do anything, no power to do anything? Do you know that legislatively, the PNM has called the Senate and the Parliament, Rowley's PNM, less times than any other Prime Minister? Do you know that it is the Prime Minister who's in charge of safety and security, controls the National Security Council, the National Security Budget, chooses the National Security Minister, controls the entire budget of the country, can impact decisions? This Prime Minister also gets to handpick his own Commissioner of Police because he interfered with the work of the Independent Police Service Commission, which collapsed, and then he appointed one with his PNM secret President Paula May Weeks, then replaced Paula May Weeks with a card-carrying, gospel PNM preaching president, and you have the audacity to say something about Kamala or the opposition? Let me tell you something, Mr. Gregory Aboud. If a Prime Minister has all that power and is totally ineffective, and crime has gotten worse every year of the 8 years that he's there, it's time for him to go. If you want the opposition to solve crime, then put the opposition on the other side. Put Kamala as Prime Minister. You would not hear Kamala calling Rowley, Rowley, please, come and help me fight crime. Come on, Row. Gregory Aboud, I got my text from my brother, but you are not speaking the truth. There is no discussion. Furthermore, Rowley lets his president, PNM president, throw out this thing. Oh, we need to talk, opposition and the government. As if that means anything. And Kamala has been waiting, gave all suggestions. He find it was too voluminous because he's so lazy, it would take him off the golf course. Rowley refuses to sit down and meet. Why don't you say the Prime Minister is in charge? The Prime Minister is in charge of everything and has every bit of power to impact our lives, make policy, pump resources, do whatever is necessary to keep people safe. And if the Prime Minister cannot do it, he needs to resign, number one. Or number two, if you want to say that he must meet with the opposition, then say that Rowley must sit down and meet with Kamala. Kamala is there waiting for the meeting. But you cannot continue this kind of intellectual dishonesty, Gregory Aboud. Because you is a PNM, I tell you, Anil saying that. So don't play and don't come and tell me nothing else. That's the only thing. Because for an intelligent human being like you to come to some such ludicrous conclusions, it's only one thing in your veins clouding your judgment, because your brain knows, but somewhere between your brain and your mouth, nonsense just come out. Government not seeing the bigger picture. News, page 7, Guardian, Sunday, March 10th. No, talking about sea-lots. No school, hungry bellies for children. Walking further along Pioneer Drive in Sea-Lots West, through the narrow interconnecting alleys towards the Community Impact and Homework Center. There are at least 15 children home from school. We were told that while some children dropped out of school during the COVID pandemic, many of the students had no classes then because of varying issues. The children roamed the alleys just outside of their families' homes, playing with other children. The cries and shouts of other children still are also heard from behind the galvanized fences of homes along the walkways. You know what I love about media in Trinidad and Tobago? The PNM loves to call and talk all sorts of lies about live sport. It ballooned from 7 million to 400 million and 400 million gone and all that nonsense, total fabrication and lies. Because when you do the calculation, 2,678 young fellas who come off the streets who are actively involved in crime, getting a $1,500 stipend, getting $75 in meals per day, 5 days a week. Then there were over 60 people on a board and an organizational structure earning salaries. There were at least 65 national heroes, former footballers, national football captains and so on, being paid monthly salaries, 60 guidance counselors, clinical psychologists, all of this equipment, all of that going on in live sport. You know why? Where live sport came from? In 2007, while I was walking around, being on radio and doing Spork on Gael, I was walking with the Congress of the People in Sealots. I was not a candidate. And on a Tuesday at 10 a.m., I was walking in the back there by where they do the Korean thing and so on. And I saw some youth men, about 4 youth men, sweating on the court there, playing football. And I sat down and watched them play some football. And 2 of the boys, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, came up to me. And they said, "Good morning, sir." I said, "Good morning." They said, can we talk to you? I said, "Of course, sit down, my brothers." And these 2 little fellas, the 8-year-old looked at me and said, "Sir, what's somebody like you doing in Sealots?" And that hit me straight in my heart. My 2 older children, who are now 26 and 25. At that time, they were approximately, they were about that same age, 8 and 9 years old. And their only philosophy in life was that if they do good in their school or their sport, daddy will buy them something. Here it was that an 8-year-old boy had this concept that he was different from everybody else. That this person who's on radio and TV and thing should not be in Sealots. And that's where the genesis of life sport came into my brain and my heart and my feet. That we had to do something to get these children another chance, another opportunity. Identify their talent, give them the discipline, give them that which was missing, get them back into the mainstream, put them into MIC, NESC centers, let counselors guide them, give them some money to put food in their belly, feed them properly, take care of them, teach them teamwork, get them inspired every day, 8 to 10 hours per day, interacting with former football captains Angus Eve, Reynold Carrington, Cox, all of them were involved, cricketers, boxers, and so on. That was live sport. You come here now, you let the PNM shut down live sport and cuss and call corruption, because millions of dollars must not go on the ground. Millions must only go to meal serve. Millions must go to Renaissance to go up in the sky. Millions must go to those contractors to build nonsense. Millions, 110 million must go for a building to administer hospitals that have no medicine. Rowley must have $1.5 billion to buy 2 vessels with himself and Smallpin doing the tendering and accessing and going down there and meeting with CEOs. That's where the money for, not for poor people, not for poor black people. And now in 2024, you are hearing the problem worse. When I went in Sealots 2007, there were only 4 boys playing football. In this article in 2024, on a school day, during school hours, at least, this article mentions at least 15 to 20 children that are outside doing nothing. And that is PNM. What have they done? They come with this lion Foster comments, oh, we do so much, look, something planting here. Foster, where the pastor? And then we come now, in every level of Trinidad and Tobago, we have gone backwards. No water for weeks in parts of Grandy and Talparo. The issue here is the pumping station. I just checked with someone there, and they said the filter is not working. Until they fix that filter, the pump can't push any water. In Boabande village, Sangre Grande, Amin Hanif said she had been deprived of water since January. Diego Martin had no water, people are truck, and so on. But look, Marvelous Marvin, look at how marvelous Marvin is. Marvelous Marvin, how is Ecliff Eli? We go deal with you just now. But Marvelous Marvin, what is this going on? What is this water gushing? Because you said your attack express run it. Watch this.
Millions of gallons of water leaking, wasting here, right? Before Paul Bay Alibero.
You see that water gushing out there, and then we see in that WASA suspends 3 workers. When I hear from the inside that area had no water for 10 years, and then this one came in and made decisions to take away water from certain areas to pump it to other areas, and now they're trying to use the workers as scapegoats and then suspend them. But to the union, to the union at WASA, to the PSA. All you had to stand firm and fight. The OWTU laid down the fight with this wicked, oppressive PNM, and now we're suffering. Well, somebody had to stand up and fight, and I believe, WASA, it falls upon you. Y'all cannot let Marvelous Marva get away with that. Furthermore, Marvelous Marva attack the Express. Marvelous Marva said the Express lie on him. That he that never said, and there was never any factual position or any statistics or any report that said that WASA was losing 50 to 55% of its potable water through leaks. That's what Marvelous Marva said, you know. Look, he even paid $20,000 for a full page ad to say, these are the facts. WASA does not lose 50% of its water to leaks and has never released any data to this effect. It is unfortunate that this particular untruth is repeated in the media till it is now embedded in the public psyche. Really? So the media lie. WASA never say that they lose 50% of the leaks? Well, let me just quote from Marvelous Marva himself. Okay? It was Gonzalez himself, the Express, for the, you know, Express, this is journalism. You see, you finally coming to print the truth. If you had been doing this since 2010, we would never have had to suffer through PNM for 8.5 years. Our country would not have gone into the chasm that it has fallen into. However, says the Express, it was Gonzalez himself who, while reading from a prepared speech last year at the Caribbean Regional Water Loss Conference in the Hilton Trinidad and Conference Center, St. Anne's, stated that according to the latest estimates, as much as 50% of this country's water is lost somewhere between its production and the end user. His words, you know. He read out the speech, you know. He dress up in suit, probably a Eclipse Eli suit, gone in the Hilton, read the speech that says 50% of the water produced by WASA is lost when it's pumped from wherever, trying to get to you, the people. He said, but he come out and pay $20,000 to say everybody lie. Well, he said that he lie because it's he who said it. He continued, the loss is even quantified. This is Marvelous Marvin, you know, at Hilton last year. The loss is even further quantified in the vicinity of $287 million annually. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not lunch money. This is $287 million that could be used to upgrade and replace the aging infrastructure. That is Marvin Gonzalez. But Marvin Gonzalez, you are the Minister of Public Utilities, and you weren't aware in 2017, 2018, there was a joint select committee where WASA officials put on the Hansard that at that time, 50 to 55% of water produced by WASA was being lost through leaks, that there were some 4,800 leaks, and then the Pomsite man, the one who liked to ride horse with little boys in front of him, was the Minister of Public Utilities. Then in came Minister LaHunt, who swore in twice, and Newsday did a whole special with him in a suit. I said, Superman coming. And that man LaHunt said, there are 4,800 leaks, losing 4.2 billion gallons of water per month. And by the time the 31st of December reaches, I will reduce that by 90%. Well, I was on the radio that time, and I wait till, I let the whole of January pass. I wait till February to show that he lied because the number of leaks increased. But I didn't wait only that. Marvelous Marvin, haven't you been paying attention? Joint Select Committee, the douglAR was there with your chairman, Nanga. Run it, Archie.
At the time we started with the leak repair drive, we were looking at an approximate figure of 5,000 leaks in our system. And that would have been at the point when we developed the digital dashboard to allow us to track the leaks that we were dealing with. And we would have repaired that 5,000 leak backlog. That's the backlog that we met in place. That's the backlog that persons that would have been referring to all along. Currently, based on our system, we have 1,500 current leaks that we're in the process of addressing. Of course, we can't say that we have 1,500 leaks. That is a moving target.
Because he gave us some nice information there that moved us from the realm of fantasy into a bit of reality. So one follow-up to Chairman Nanga. So there are 1,500 leaks now. Now, not in a scientific manner, but more in a guesstimate manner based on 4,200 leaks losing 4.2 billion gallons of water per month. If there are 1,500 leaks now, we are saying that WASA is currently under our road infrastructure and under our houses and our buildings and everything, that there is approximately still 1.2 to 1.5 billion gallons of water being wasted by leaks from WASA's infrastructure.
Thank you. I'm not sure whether the member got those figures, but it's the amount of water lost by leaks is not in the billions. It's in the millions, perhaps hundreds of millions. So it is 90 million gallons of water would be lost by leaks.
Chairman Nanga, it is unfortunate that you have been at the helm of WASA for a very long time, and you do not understand the quantum of water lost by leaks. You're telling me that it's not billions of gallons. Let me tell you something. I don't open my mouth before I research. The average back in 2017, the average potable water produced and pumped by WASA to supply Trinidad and Tobago was about 7.2 to 7.3 billion gallons per month. At the rate of leakage of 4,200 leaks, WASA was losing 50 to 56% of their potable water through leakage, which amounted to an average of 4.2 billion gallons per month.
Yeah, the figure that I got from the CEO, and I would turn over to the CEO in terms of those figures.
Losses. Those are losses that you will be seeing on the roadways and so forth system. They amounted 90 million gallons per day, which would be about 7.2 billion gallons for the month.
Now that was a joint public pop up the volume, right? So Nanga didn't know, but the CEO come and correct the chairman, and it was 90 million gallons per day, multiplied by 30, right? That's 2.7 billion gallons at their revised figure in 2023 of 1,500 leaks. But in 2017, WASA under PNM said there were 4,200 leaks and they were losing 55% of the water. This man, Marvelous Marvin, come and pay $20,000 to show that he's a complete idiot and he don't even know what's going on in the portfolio that he has. Because Rowley said, he found a dunce. He was happy to have a dunce, and he put a dunce in charge of WASA who knew nothing about water and nothing about WASA. Is Rowley say that?
And I never imagined that leaks could have prevented people from getting an efficient water supply because it breaks down pressure, and the water cannot go to communities on the upper levels.
And that is why, as Prime Minister, I was very happy after the election results came out. Then I got somebody who had no connection, no understanding, no nothing to do with WASA.
Let me tell you, pull back up the volume, make sure you hear me. Let me quote from Marvelous Marvin, his own words, because he come out saying the Express lie, everybody lie, people lie, Joint Select Committee lie, the WASA CEO lie, the WASA workers lie, the Joint Select Committee in 2017, everybody lie. They did not know none of that, but let me see if Marvelous Marvin lied too. Because let's quote from his speech that he read, he is the same minister in Hilton Conference Center, printed in the Express by Joel Julian on Sunday Express, 10th March, page 3. Another part of his speech. An aging 700-kilometer pipeline infrastructure is matched only by an almost rigor mortar-sized approach to the acceptance of new ideas in the interim. The last estimate tells us that between 40 to 50% of water is lost somewhere between its production and the end user. 40 to 50%. This man say in his speech, water is lost. It disappears because when they try to pump it to you, leak all over the place. But in this thing, here the same marvelous Marvin, not two of them, maybe he bipolar, I don't know, but it's only one marvelous Marvin, These are the facts. WASA does not lose 50% of its water to leaks and has never released any data to this effect. It is unfortunate that this particular untruth is repeated in the media till it is now embedded in the public psyche. Let me quote from Marvelous Marvin. The loss is even further quantified in the vicinity of $287 million annually. An aging 700-kilometer pipeline. The last estimate tells us that between 40 or 50% of water is lost somewhere between the production and the end user. Marvin tell Marvin that Marvin lied to Marvin, and Marvin blame Express and blame the population for lying, but the statistics there on Joint Select Committee on Hansard, 3 different Joint Select Committees. Come again, Marvin. Come again, Marvelous Marvin, says the Express. The Express says, for the second time in 5 months, Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez has given the public misleading information. Last November, Mr. Gonzalez told the Parliament that the Telecommunications Service of Trinidad and Tobago had not had a cyber breach. Now we found out that that was true. With respect to TSTT, the minister later stated that he had been given incorrect information. With WASA, he has no such excuse. In a speech in March of last year at the Caribbean Regional Water Loss Conference, the minister admitted that 40 to 50% is lost somewhere between its production and the end user. Strictly speaking, not all this loss may be due to leaks. As the ad notes, water loss includes leaks, illegal connections, unauthorized consumption. However, in his ad, Minister Gonzalez was careful not to specify what percentage is lost to leaks as compared to illegal connections and unauthorized consumption. The minister is no doubt also familiar with the third report of the Joint Select Committee on Land and Physical Infrastructure, which stated the non-revenue water is estimated between 40 to 50% based on a historical figure recorded in December 2021, and may be greater given that it does not take into account water loss to illegal connection. So in the Joint Select Committee, they said specific to leaks. That one you saw with me in talking, and Nanga talk nonsense, and the CEO had to correct the chairman, the PNM chairman. That was specific to leaks, which was 40 to 50%, and that was last year, 2022. But since 2017, the PNM was stating that 50 to 55% of water was lost during leaks. LaHunt was to come to fix it, and he exacerbated it. This clown come because Rowley find a dunce to put in charge, and the dunce is a dunce and leads WASA into duncehood. And he come to lie on himself. The minister is no doubt also familiar, right? So why did Minister Gonzalez, after accusing this newspaper of perpetuating a great untruth, refuse to provide accurate figures? Is it because he doesn't have them, or because, as the JSC report suggests, the actual leakage is higher than 50%? What makes his lack of vision even more inexcusable is that there is no need to reinvent the water wheel. Other countries have faced similar challenges and solved them through different policy measures. Since assuming office, Minister Gonzalez has given no hint of what new policies WASA's management intends to pursue, assuming policy changes are even considered. If Minister Gonzalez has proved one thing, it is that he prefers to avoid unpalatable facts, even if that means misleading the people of TNT. Express editorial, the 11th of March 2024. Marvelous, Marvin, really? And look, let me just show you in Diego Martin. Now this is the Prime Minister constituency and the acting Prime Minister constituency and the next fella, all PNM, PNM Corporation, PNM all around. PNM in your juice, in your soup, in your doubles, in your roti, PNM all over, right? And look at the PNM in Diego Martin. Run it.
What a lovely day.
That's all right.
All the water, watching the golf course. And we under WASA restrictions as of a couple of days ago. Perhaps somebody's playing golf this weekend once the grass nice and green. Fantastic.
Under PNM would call member acting Prime Minister, Rowley Prime Minister, and our next one, the dons who couldn't get in Fatima. But on top of that, watch, we go find some leaks. WASA say, don't use your hose. They send in the WASA police to check if you're using your hose. We go find leaks. We just in Petit Valley heading to Diego Martin, a short distance. Look right there. Yes, all you don't use your hose, but look leak right there. WASA could waste water gushing. But you, don't wet your lawn, you know, don't wet your plants. Hot sun, so don't say I'm filming rainwater. Another leak. PNM, their incompetence, but they penalize you. Don't turn on your hose, they go charge you. Look another one right here. PNM WASA leak, but you can't use your hose. Over 4.5 billion gallons of water wasting every month since 2017, 2018. But PNM coming to hound you down for using your hose. Well, this is the best one here. Right in Diego Martin, this leaking about 3 years now. This is not rainwater, you know. This is water, all of this clean potable water coming out of our WASA area. All here. The trucks just fill up here and all here is leaked. 2 or 3 leaks. They can't even turn off the tap when they finish filling up the trucks. All here is water wasting and leaking. But you, PNM, come to punish and penalize the citizens for their incompetence. I'm leaving it on, you know, because right here again, this Diego Martin, you know, this Rowley and him, but watch this. They had to put big hole and tire in it. Look at leak, WASA water wasting. Right on that corner there, that intersection, they fix a leak 3 times. Right, the same leak. Look, all here leaking. Yes, vote. Vote for incompetence. But you make sure, don't turn on your hose, you know, PNM coming for you. And then we finish up with one just in front of the house there, right on my street. That has been reported 11 months now. 7 different reports. WASA PNM people come to see it, mark it. But they can't come just so, you know, because water don't come by me regular. They just have to turn on the tank for 2 hours, 3 times a week to fill up your tank. So they don't know when it's leaking. They have to come and see. So they mark it.
11 months ago, and it's still there leaking every time they try to pump water up the hill. That is PNM incompetence. That is WASA. That is PNM board. And that's why they come to suffer you. The PNM incompetent, but penalize you. And now, they also, if you flash up an image, they WASA power washing their own building, you know. But you can't use hose. They come in to charge you if you use hose. And let me tell you, if we don't use hose and we bathe for 1 minute, quick, take a cowboy, and we brush with teeth with a cup, do you know that if every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago did that and really conserve water, we could possibly save, if we were very efficient, 40 to 50 million gallons per week. That is 200 million at best per month, while WASA throws away since 2017 4.2 billion gallons per month, while they produce 7.3 billion gallons per month. This one say that all our we lie, including here, because he read all that statistics in Hilton in March last year. That is marvelous, spending too much time with Cliff Eli. The little bit of brain he had turned to sludge, just like all over Trinidad and Tobago, where WASA water dripping out, gushing out all over the place. As we talk waste, PNM waste. The PNM, Rowley, all the ministers went to dig, shovel, to break ground for an administration office for the Ministry of Social Development. A multi-million, $100 and something million facility to ensure that they're going to provide poor people with service. I want that to soak in, you know. I would like that to soak into you. So the Ministry of Social Development is to get access to poor people. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa left office, the poverty rate was at 16.7%, down from 19.8% under Patrick Mervyn Augustus Manning. Before COVID, Rowley had taken that up to 23.5%. During and after COVID, that went up to 29.8 to 31% of the population of Trinidad and Tobago below the poverty line, which means below 1,000 TT per month. They're going to build, the PNM is going to spend $144.8 million for headquarters for the Ministry of Social Development. Now, they didn't say who is going to build this, but I'll give you all one guess. They didn't say in the whole article, you know, but I bet you it's under Udicott and Noel Garcia. Y'all want to bet? We'll check it out, and next show I will tell you all, right? But listen to this. Donna Cox, after digging spade there with Rowley, says the new head office will also be digitalized to give clients access to online applications. What poor people have internet? People below the poverty line who are eating 3 meals possibly per week. Children drinking sugar water, living in shack and plyboard house, all across Trinidad and Tobago, all in the bush, all in the rural areas and so on. 30% of the population lives below the poverty line. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa and Glenn Ramadasing left in September 2015, 42,000 food cards had been given out. The PNM and Rowley by 2018 cut that down to 18,000 food cards. The poverty rate increased. Food price inflation. It got harder. Exactly where Rowley and them take laptops away from all the children. Exactly where poor people going to get this online laptop and online internet to go on the digitalized $148 million building. So the PNM is going to build a monstrosity. Contractor will get a big building. Somebody, PNM contractor, Balize House might get some material for poor people to get served. Under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, there was something called direct impact because Glenn Ramadasing and Barrington Skippy Thomas and that crew noticed that they weren't really, they had programs and they had things to help people, but it wasn't getting to the people. So you know what they did? They took the whole office with all the forms and with all the workers and went out in the communities to the MPs and so on, and the MPs will go and tell them where people will live in, because we walk all the areas, and they will send people to fill out. They will fill out the form, because a lot of these people cannot read and write. Yes, in Trinidad and Tobago, don't get confused. And they would fill it out for them, get the access, get the benefits to them, direct impact. How much poor people will will find out what I talking about here. Poor people don't have time to watch Anil or no douglAR politics. Them hustling and studying where the next little bit of rice coming from. So them, how them even going to know a headquarters billing for 144.8 million? And then, look, Noel Garcia Day, thank you. Well done. Look, I didn't even have to investigate. The article didn't say so, but it's you, the court. Look, Noel noted Garcia in the back there. So poor people could suffer. Rather than take the $144.8 million and give more food cards, go direct impact, buy groceries, buy vegetables, buy food for the poor people across the country, and give them that in meaningful ways so they could eat, so they could survive. Rowley, the man who said he took issue with Call the Heart, look, he called the heart by 2.0, HD, power, AI, Noel Garcia in the back there, and small pin digging spade. They're going to build a building for poor people with a golden spade. These people sick. They're worse than Marie Antoinette. So when they build that for 144.8 million, the poor people from Matlot, from Labre, from Cedros, from Point Fortin, from in Central and Cuba, all over down in Chaguaramas, Caranach, the center, the Princestown, Barak, poor people all over will have to take the little money, travel to Port of Spain, pay $20, stay whole day in traffic, line up, try to read form and fill out form, because the PNM bill $144.8 million building. Y'all really vote for these idiots? And them smiling and taking picture with such stupidity, advertising their stupidity. That is how you serve poor people. That is how you uplift poor people out of the poverty realm. What abject, total nonsense. If that doesn't tell you that these people sick, nothing will. And you vote for that? They cut food card so they could build a building to say, hey, poor people, look, pretty building. You're hungry? Oh, good, but look, nice paint. Boy, Rowley say, who is corrupt in my government? Rowley, I have to have a whole next show for you. Rowley, you answer a question, who is corrupt? I could just deal with you, Rowley. Who is Landate? What happened with Landate? Where's Landate? Do you know that the police could reinvestigate Landate? That they found enough information in Landate to send to the DPP a file involving you? And it was only discarded because they forgot to tell you, hey, we have this. What say you? Rowley, you said Bridgman's money was crooked. You said something was wrong with the port, with Bridgman. Bridgman's had no office. Remember when Mark Bassant was still a reporter before they buy him out? Remember that? And Rowley said something is crooked here. This is crooked money. But Rowley, who approved the crooked money? No money could have come out of the treasury without somebody approving it. Rowley, you know who approved the crooked money on the phone in Tobago? You, Rowley. So if you say the money crooked, then a crooked man approved the money and then went to the crooked cabinet to get covering approval of your crooked approval. Who is corrupt? Rowley? But this, let me just tell you all something. This dishonest, pathological liar, his position is now, when he has taken control of all the independent institutions in the country. So the commissioner of police must be under his firm grasp. The SSA must do exactly as he say. Anybody and everybody who does anything against him, they get victimized. Whistleblowers fired, burn them fired, ministers fired, whoever does the right thing, get out. He choose his own commissioner of police. And his own commissioner of police, who was, this one now was 12th, that he elevated first, and then renew, and only running down FUL, and nothing else going on. His new position is, we have nobody really other than Marlene, but Marlene passed away now, so you probably feel that. And he had a friend who he was lying with in his 72nd birthday party in Tobago, them PNM on charge. His position is now that if there are no charges of his ministers, then they are not corrupt. That is his level. Let me ask you, and then if the Integrity Commission investigate what does he do? He uses his president, and when the contract up, replace the integrity chairman with the neighbor of Bridget Anisette George and Newman George. That's his position. Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Angel. If you spend $500 billion over the last 8 years, how come nothing works in this country? Since you're not corrupt, you say, you're not corrupt, your government not corrupt, none of your ministers corrupt, nothing like that. Well, I'm just asking you, how come nothing works? How come we can't get water? How come they have job losses? How come we can't get foreign exchange? How come our balance of payments is terrible? How come we have no foreign direct investment? How come 123,000 people come off the NIB rolls? How come over 6,000 small and micro enterprises shut down? How come schools in a total mess and you build none? How come gate cut and people can't afford to get educated? How come THTTI closed down? How come UTT funding cut? How come the roads in a mess, the infrastructure in a mess? How come sport in a mess? How come no soca monarch? How come no culture? How come crime so terrible is the worst in the history of Trinidad and Tobago? And you spend more money than any prime minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. But you're not corrupt, so where the money gone, boy? Manning, I say that, douglAR asking it now. Where the money gone? All you're really taking that long. You're really serious? I know some all you already, and I know I'm buffing all you, and all you realize you didn't know this human being, but I was trying to tell you all, but now you all know, right? And this man, you could leave it there, no? He lashes UNC at start turning. Now listen to this carefully. This gentleman, who since he was a teacher in 1969, did not have the integrity, the wherewithal, the morality to know that he should not use a power position and a position of trust as being a teacher to try to groom and get pum-pum from a girl of school age, to have sex with her and then impregnate her, because he did not even have the care to use a prophylactic. Since 1969, that's a scumbucket. He didn't get better. He got worse over the years. This national quarries, this land date, this miscreant, this green veil, this housing, this renaissance, this fake Calder heart, this Lekoto Obia man who boasts about working Obia, this email gate liar, police service, Delcy, this man come to tell you all there is a new benchmark of integrity, propriety, and corporate governance, right? It's the Rowley way. Such a brilliant individual. You should all aspire to be just like this piece of Kobo excrement. Here, Rowley, if a minister of government owns a property, or his family owns a property, and that property is rented by the state, and when any business comes up before the cabinet to renew the rent or to do whatever, anything to do with it, that minister has to declare his interest. That's called a recusal. So this man is trying to say that a minister of government who swears on the Bible to serve the people, who's paid large sums of money, lots of perks and so on, and is entrusted with the people's funds, that his ministers, and they sign on to the Integrity in Public Life Act, which means that you must not further your interests or the interests of anyone, your family, your business partners or friends. You must not use your position to do that. This miscreant is now lowering the bar to his standard, the PNM standard, to say, well, the ministers in my cabinet, if we as a government are going to enrich a minister, we ask them to step out of the room and allow his friends and colleagues in the cabinet to enrich him while he is not in the room. This fool is telling you all that openly. And all of you intellectuals, political scientists, professors, former permanent secretaries, public servants, all of you teachers, priests, pundits, imams, you all accept that? That's the benchmark? That he is stating now that the whole world of corporate governance does not exist in his world when he is part of a government and he's going to enrich one of his colleagues, including himself. What he has decided is that when they're going to take decisions to enrich themselves through your money, all they have to do is step out of the room and let the brethren enrich them, and that's A-OK. Great, clap it. And you big people, read that, hear that, listen to that, coming from the mouth of the most arrogant, asinine, ridiculous, pathological, dishonest, disgusting, low character human being in history to hold high office. And he says that openly. And the media, you print that. And all you senior counsel and all you lawyers and all you former judges, and you all accept that? That's the benchmark? So when you swear on the Bible to be a minister, all you have to study is go and enrich yourself, rent your own building, give yourself contract. All you have to do is step out and say, hey, my brethren are outside having coffee, and let your friend and them enrich you. That's what Rowley is saying is normal and telling you in an arrogant way. And you all print that and accept that. And over 600 to 700 recusals in his government. And then he simultaneously asks, which one of my ministers corrupt? No class. Leave Rowley there. A letter to the editor by Darren Garner. No class, Dr. Rowley. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has shown great disrespect to the former Prime Minister of St. Lucia and displayed his own lack of class, diplomacy, respect, and regard for Trinidad and Tobago. On top of that, Rowley has also shown himself to be a hypocrite, too, by now getting involved in other countries' politics, although he claimed he does not do so when questioned about why he does not stand up for the democracy in Venezuela. Our current Prime Minister has poured scorn on two past and possible future heads of government, Donald Trump and Alan Chastanet. If either or both of these active and dynamic politicians come to power again in their respective countries, how do you think our relationships with these governments go? Were Rowley's comments factual or racially driven? Hopefully we only have a few months left with Dr. Rowley as Prime Minister, and our next Prime Minister will show the class, dignity, diplomacy, inclusiveness, and respect for the international image of Trinidad and Tobago that we deserve. A letter by Darren Garner, Express, page 14. And as we're talking about International Women's Day, one of the NGOs, the concert Woman Power, took place, and they were honoring certain women of class. Many of them were well done. But there's one that I circle here. Bridget Anisette George. Now, I'm going to ask this NGO that supports proud women and achievements of women, does it not matter how you perform in the job that you have achieved or that was given to you? Does it matter? Or once you're a woman and you reach there, so she's a PNM, she Rowley Newman George friend, and she reached there, she's the Speaker of the House. This Speaker of the House has impacted the bench in the worst way. She's the most undemocratic speaker. She's gone against convention. When the opposition called for a tribunal to be set up to investigate the president and the actions with the Independent Police Service Commission, she thwarted debate, said just vote. This speaker said that on 5 different occasions the pending pandemic of COVID-19, where 4,969 people and counting have lost their lives in Trinidad and Tobago, and every variant known to man came across the continent, across the open borders, and decimated over 6,000 businesses, shut down our economy, dropped our GDP by $25 billion per year. She denied that that was a topic of importance that should be debated. She has sat in that chair and she has sucked. She's the worst sitting speaker of the House ever. And you are praising what? Because she's a woman? No. Yes, women must celebrate women moving on and so on. But you must do it based on merit. Just because you're a woman. Gatsby Dolly is a woman. She's the worst Minister of Education ever. Tim Gopi Singh built 106 schools. Tim Gopi Singh had SEA results going upwards. Over 17,000 children got over 50%. Now we down at 8,000. 2,000 children disappear off the roads. More fights and indiscipline. Schools dilapidated. Schools falling apart. Ratting school. What we should do? Give Gatsby Dolly an award because she's a woman? No. You, whether man, woman, you must do the job well. So I'm very sorry. Y'all didn't think that one through, okay? And just because she get that, why she get that? Because it's a Balize house, because it's PNM, because Nancy Scope is a PNM in the EBC, because they call an election and 35,000 people were kept out and couldn't come home to vote, plus you had the men walking with envelope into the EBC, then you had open envelope in St. Joseph, you had Noel Garcia and Rohan Sinanan all around, driving around with car, with all kind of thing. That's why she became that. So that's a great achievement. Come on, man. And then Asha Javid. Well, I nearly choke when I read this. Asha PNM Javid. Asha Javid, who lied down on she back and read a clause about sanction clause after a contract done consummated 17 days. She's the only one read it. Asha Javid, who in a case against Sibalak Singh and the Express and Asha Javid, a judge said that she is totally dishonest and unprofessional. Asha Javid say that somewhere somebody came to ask her about some article that she wrote, and she was so offended because if it was a man, they would not have asked her any questions or asked him any questions. No, Asha Javid. Man or woman, liars will be questioned. So whether you're a man, woman, whatever you is, when you lie on people, people will question you. So don't try to feign, oh, whoa, victim. How many front pages you did on Live Sport that was fraught with total fabrication and lies? You continue to lie. How come you never told the media house, the Express, that you were in a loving relationship with John Jeremy and bought children for a PNM Attorney General, and then you horn him with this one here next PNM, and no UNC ain't get no loving? Well, I don't care, you know. But you cannot be an independent journalist when you have intimate relations with one side. You cannot be a political investigative journalist when you love one side in a two-party state. It is immoral, it is unethical, it is lacks journalistic integrity. So the person didn't ask you questions because you're a woman. If you was a big hardback man, they would have asked you, because liars are required to answer questions, and you have a judgment against you on the court in the print that says you are a dishonest human being when it comes to reporting. Just ask Sibalak Singh, former CEO of the EMBD. Public does not pay attention to the Constitution, says former House Speaker Berendra Sinanan SC. Good PNM, very bright senior counsel. He was the Speaker of the House, and even though he was a PNM, he allowed the opposition to have its say. So he handled the House with some aplomb. However, sir, you're saying that the citizens don't pay attention to the Constitution. What about you? You in charge of this Constitutional Reform Committee, did you pay attention to the Constitution? So when Paula May Weeks breached the Constitution, Section 123.4, when Rowley went on August 11, 2021 and whispered in she ears, and she called Bliss Prasad and forced her to misbehave in public office and take back a merit list that was duly approved by a majority of the Police Service Commission and ought to have gone straight to Parliament. I didn't hear you, Barendra Sinanan, Senior Counsel. Did you read the Constitution? Did you know that that was a breach? When there was an electoral college being called to investigate that, and an independent senator whose sister was would be the one that would be investigated along with the president, that sister sat down and voted to not have the tribunal. Was that constitutional? Was that right? Was that propriety? When the PNM Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi negotiated and concluded and signed an indemnity with a witness in a criminal matter usurping the constitutional control of the DPP Section 70, were you reading the Constitution or you had PIP? So with all due respect, Senior Counsel Barendra Sinanan, give me a break now. And furthermore, your members of the committee, Helen Drayton sat in an independent chair, swore on the Bible to do her duty to the best of her ability, and knew that she was a flipping PNM. She sat there as a PNM, attacked Kamala Prasad Biswas in the most vile manner, 23 out of 23 contributions scathing against the government. When Kamala lost government, she jumped out and went on CNMG board and NIB board, PNM. She is going to determine our constitution. Where all you going? All you digging at the bottom of the barrel? All you went in the labas to go and find people? Who's the next one? Dr. Terence Farrell? Yes, very intelligent, but intellectually dishonest. He was the chairman of the Economic Development Board, gave recommendation, used his brain, came up and told Rowley, we need to do this, that, to make the economy create things, to create opportunities, to prevent forex crisis, to create jobs, move forward, diversify. Rowley listened to none. He resigned. But his integrity is so intact, he say, never mind Rowley, don't listen. Never mind Rowley, dotish. Never mind stick breaking the ears. Still vote for Rowley, because I is a PNM. That is your committee to do what with the Constitution? With all due respect, Mr. Sinanan. Shh. I don't want to hear you. Because when you are bright, when you are intelligent, and when you allow all that wrong to go forth, don't come and preach no Pontius Pilate to me. Because the douglAR does read, the douglAR does remember, and the douglAR has been taught, to whom much is given, much is expected. And when someone is as intelligent as you, and the country is suffering, and you have done nothing and said nothing, don't come and pretend now. The country may not read the Constitution, but you certainly did, and you knew all that Rowley was doing was wrong, and you kept your lips zipped. How many briefs you get from PNM in the last 8.5 years? Most of those against tax have property abroad, says Rowley. Y'all are going to end the show with this one, you know. I ain't get through all, but I'm going to end the show probably. Let me see. The vast majority of people loudly protesting against property tax are people who have property outside of Trinidad and Tobago, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said, as he contended that sensible, law-abiding Trinbagonians saw the benefit of property tax. The vast majority of voices that you hear attacking property tax in Trinidad and Tobago are voices that have property outside of Trinidad and Tobago, and they are the first in line to pay out there, probably in US dollars, that they spirit away from here in Trinidad and Tobago. So don't get me going on that tonight. Nobody is oppressing anybody with this tax. It is required to improve the quality of life in the local districts, and therefore the government that I lead, we campaigned on this. We have a mandate for it, and the majority of people in this country are sensible, law-abiding people and see the benefit. Well, the thousands of people that have messaged me, complain to me when I'm walking in St. Joseph and going around this country, eaten by the doubles man. These people, and I asked them for the last 2 days, y'all have property outside? These people have no property outside. These are Trinidadians and Tobagonians who live in here, who have worked hard, paid their taxes, paid their stamp duties, built their homes, improved their homes, want to leave it for their children. And Rowley is coming to oppressively tax them and take what they have. And Rowley has the arrogance to say that all of you have plenty money and you're lining up to pay property taxes outside in the US and so on. Also, if a few people have houses in the US don't have PNM. It don't have a president that is preaching the gospel of the PNM. It don't have a police service commission that is PNM. It don't have an integrity commissioner that is the neighbor of the speaker of the house in the PNM. It don't have one Noel Garcia who's spending money on everything. The USA don't have that. They have service, they have road, they have bus that move on time, they have garbage collection, they have police all over, they have no crime and murder and death and mayhem and blood spilling everywhere. So those people have no problem paying tax. But we have Rowley, we have Imbert, we have the PNM, we have total collapse of every institution. We have a tyrannical dictator. And this man is so sick, just like Imbert saying to all of you elderly people who cannot afford the tax now, they'll defer it, whether 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, however long you live. But when you're dead, your children have to pay it. And all you, Imbert said, have a rich lawyer child. That is PNM. You all vote for that, what you want me to say? What you want the douglAR to say again? This is not make-up thing. This is truth. And then Rowley says that property tax is to pay for your services, really? Westminster system, budget, $60 billion. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the cabinet, could allot money as they feel. So if local government is important to a prime minister, they take a big chunk of money and say 14 corporations, you've asked for 150 million each. We think you've asked for too little. We're going to give you 200 million each by 14, right? Like 2.8 billion. You still have from the budget $57.2 billion. The Prime Minister allocates. So don't come and say you need another tax to allocate. You have decimated local government. You do not care. You don't care about people. You don't care about service. And you're lying. Furthermore, that property tax is coming now. It's only for you, the house owner. Only for you, the small residential. You, the poor person with your house, middle class. Your homeowner. He's not taxing his big businessmen. He's not taxing Christian Mute. He's not taxing industry. He's not taxing commerce. He's not taxing all them KFC branch that's so big that the doubles man should not get doubles. He's not taxing them. He's just taxing you. And he's telling you, Rowley telling you, that you would love to pay tax to him so that he could build a next building for the Ministry of Social Development while people starving. And he could build a next building to administer the health system while the hospital have rat in it and have no medicine and people suffering, nurses getting robbed when they go in the car park because the lights are working. That's what Rowley says, and some of you all vote for him. And then Rowley said, if you don't pay the property tax, then he might be forced to go to the IMF. Really? But hear what? Imbert said, IMF says TNT in sustained recovery. So Imbert, Rowley saying, if we don't get this property tax, everything will collapse. We go into the IMF. And Imbert comes and says, acting Prime Minister, Rowley, you're talking nonsense. Look, the IMF says we're doing great. We're on a growth path. Let me just put up that graph there, Archie. I just want you all to show you all something about the PNM lies. Watch this. PNM budget promises 2015 coming forward, right? You see the UNC, you see Kamala there, you see GDP. That's how much money is produced throughout the economy. All of you all working, jobs creating, business and so on. Public sector, private sector. You see how it was with the UNC. Up, high. Then the PNM come in. And the PNM says restoring confidence and rebuilding trust. And boom, the graph drop. Money gone. Things drop. Then they come with the next one. Shaping a brighter future. And the future get dark and gloomy. Then they come now changing the paradigm. But the paradigm stay the same, which is downward spiral. Then they say, turn around. I can see clearly now, says the Dwen. The rain has gone. 6 major game changers. Not one of the 6 ever come true. And you see a flat line with a slow decline. Then you'll see stability, strength, and growth, says the PNM. And voodoo, everything collapse and fall down. And then now, you see after they have decimated everything, you see a little uptick, a little thing kind of slight incline. And that's what they're boasting. But go back up, look at where UNC was, up at the Mount Everest, the peak. Them take we down to the base, and then coming up to climb one rock and say, hey, we do good. We are great. Great is the PNM. Look, vote out this bag of dunce, please. And Foster Cummings, you're just like a prime minister, boy. You're just like Rowley. Foster Cummings, why you just lie so? Foster Cummings, Kamla Prasad Bisesa said, tell the children to pick up the gun and Lego the matic and empty the clip and reload and so on. Told the children, told the young people that. Really, Foster Cummings? Because I know that when Kamla Prasad Bisesa was talking that, she was saying when criminals come into your house as homeowners and your family is there, your wives, your children, your daughters, and gun-wielding bandits with illegal firearms that come into this country every day through the PNM negligence, that you must stand your ground and defend your family, and that Kamla Prasad Bisesa, when she's Prime Minister, will make it easier. She'll change the law for people at home, homeowners, to protect their castle, to defend their castle. That's what Kamla was talking about. Isn't that correct, citizens, or is Anil making that up? But this Minister Foster Cummings, this fostering stupidity, gets up on a platform and franco-ment lies and pretends that Kamla is irresponsible and telling children to pick up a gun and go wild, and the PNM is saying pick up our education. Foster, you are done, pick up our education. Run it and let me show you.
And unlike another political leader somewhere else who telling you to load up the matic, empty it and load it back and load up the matic, we are saying take up your book, take up your computer, train and educate yourself, find a job, open a business. We will hold your hand and support you. Put down the guns and pick up an education to develop yourself, young people of Trinidad and Tobago. What a reckless leader. Never again, Kamla, never again.
Now think about that. Think about how disgusting, unethical, lack of character, no morality a human being had to be to get up on a platform and just spew disgusting lies and untruths. What Kamla tells you young people pick up gun? Where? When? How? Foster Cummings, you're a sick man. And that's why you and Rowley fighting up over Gadsby Dolly. You're a disgusting human being. You're uneducated dunce. Pick up our education. You have failed the young people of this country. And now you come on a PNM platform having spent $500 billion and have nothing to say for it. The children scrambling, killing, fighting. Everything cut. And you come to lie and say Kamla irresponsible, telling the young people to load up the market. What young people? So what you doing telling people, homeowners to pick up a book, pick up a education? Kamla was specifically speaking to citizens, homeowners, people, fathers in charge of their families to protect their homes from criminals that y'all cannot control, that y'all are encouraging to run amok in this country. That when they come to invade your home, rape your daughters and your wives, to take what you have, to kill you, that you must fight back and you must empty the clip on criminals. You stand there and lie, and all your PNM people listening to that. That is so disgusting. That is so, y'all are such idiots. But yet some people go and vote for you. That is the best. How much platform I talk? You ever hear me lie on Rowley or stand them? For what? They in charge and they have nothing positive to say. So they have to fabricate and lie. And y'all really feel you all going to believe that? Rowley said no request from the Divers family for him to meet. Oh my goodness. Divers died, left by his pariah, his Newman George, his PNM board, his Minister of Energy, his small pin in a pipe for 39 hours. The commissioner, the head of the commission inquiry said they were treated like animals, inhumane. And Rowley said, them have to request a meeting with him. He has received no request. I say no more on that. Tunapuna businesses spend $400,000 to fight crime, to put up cameras. That's the job of the government. That's why you pay taxes. The papers have that as some big thing. Rowley on Kamala crime fight. Well, this is our next one on a platform. All when you go PNM, all they have to do is lie. Here, Rowley on Kamala, that Kamala panicked and called a state of emergency, and Kamala lock up black boy. Run it, run the fool, run it.
When Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa was Prime Minister, the crime flared up to the point where she, in a panic, declared a state of emergency. And the solution to that flare-up was to lock up black people left, right, and center, and say jail didn't make the right thing, to go in there. We're still paying millions of dollars for that.
Number one, if Kamala panicked when murders was 400, you cool as a cucumber when murders at 614, 575, 539, 519, increasing, and under your what you cool. The people want a prime minister who panics, who gets action, who gets amped up to try to solve, number one. So if Kamala panicked when she was much better than you cool when we dead in. You're so stupid. Number two, Kamala called a state of emergency because of intelligence. Kamala Prasad Bisesa did not control any police commissioner, did not collapse any police service commission, did not have any control or input over the independent TTPS. The TTPS is the TTPS, and they in charge of arresting. Kamala Prasad Bisesa was a prime minister who did her job properly. Now you are getting confused because you breached the constitution. You got to handpick your last two commissioners of police, and you give them instructions on who to hound down, who to go. You control the SSA and tell them who to spy on and so on. Because spy on my phone whole day, whole night. Because I will just tell them in the morning, yes, Rowley, one of the ministers, which one going down, past the tree dog, past the parrot, open the dungeon door, down the steps, into the office, and lay down on the red couch waiting for Rowley horny goatweed to take effect. I go say that, and they bring a printout for you. Sue me now, you big punk. So Rowley, Kamala did not arrest anyone. Kamala cannot arrest anyone. Kamala was a prime minister. So your statement is disgusting. And for you to say that Kamala lock up black boys, Kamala didn't lock up nobody. It's black police lock up black children if black children were doing wrong thing. So don't try to create no race talk, because the police is basically black. It have a few Indian in it. 85% of the police service is black. So what you're saying, black people don't like black people? That's your card? Anytime you reach race, you are an idiot. You start off as an idiot. And when you talk race, you sound more dotish. Then Rowley now attacks Cujo. Selwyn Cujo wrote an article, took his time, then went on the UNC anti-crime because he knows that this country is dying and all people from all areas, all walks of life need to unite to get rid of Keith Rowley because he's incompetent. But look what Rowley does to attack a professor, a black man, a proud black man, a man who has lived his life well. Run it.
They brought in Selwyn Cujo. They had the crime talk with Selwyn Cujo. What was the main point that Selwyn Cujo produced on the platform of the crime talks? You know what it is? That you must examine the wealth of the prime minister to correlate the growth of his wealth with the growth of crime in the country. Tonight I want to say to Selwyn Cujo, you just haul.
You just haul. You are such a liar. That's not Cujo's point. Cujo's point is that you are incompetent, that you've been at the helm for 8 years and crime has spiraled out of control, that you've chosen the worst minister in the history. You replaced your favorite minister who was a failure. that crime has gone out of control, that you have interfered with the Police Service Commission, had control of your Commissioner of Police and chosen a woeful one, that your attitude, your lack of respect, your lack of love, your lack of understanding, your lack of creativity, your laziness, your stupidity, your arrogance, that you exacerbate the problem because you are not a Prime Minister. You are a miscreant and a useless scoundrel and a waste of time. He went into great detail to analyze your character, your attitudes, your disgusting attack on every level of people who put forward a different opinion. He has showed that you have no control. You spend more time out of the country, earning your per diem. You do not care. You have not done anything. You have not panicked, so to speak. You have not instituted any new plans. The country is on automatic pilot and the criminals have taken over. And you are the worst Prime Minister in history that forced him to go to speak. That's what he spoke about your wealth. Listen, Rowley, let me tell you. And this is another point, you know. And all your Rowley and Smallpin went in Australia, drink scotch and eat shrimps, and purchase 2 ferries, give them out like dinner mint. Bids went in to a committee of ministers chaired by Smallpin. And then they bought 2 cutlass vessels. Look at all your cutlass vessels. Watch it. Brand new. Look at it. What's that? Buying scrap iron, old battery buy. That is all your, one of all your 600 million to $300 million for one. Look at it. It a whole like garbage bag, like Kobo and Rat went and eat it. That is Rowley and Smallpin what they buy for all you. That is why the borders open. It don't even have diesel, but it mash up. And then Rowley feels that he is coming to call election. And Shagwanas East, he get a savior. A few UNC say, oh God, Sukai gone PNM. Now if you could go PNM, any human being who could go and sit alongside the Obia man, the witchcraft purveyor, the evil, disgusting Rowley, for him to take your wife down the stairs, past the 3 dog and the parrot into the dungeon. Anyone who could sit down and agree with oppressive discriminatory policies, open fire discrimination during COVID, geographic discrimination, arrogance, disgusting, no corporate governance. If you could sit down with that, something had to be wrong with you. Sukai went and sit down with PNM because he support Vasant. Vasant wanted to lead. Vasant get 300 and something vote, get blowout, waste of time Vasant. Then Sukai want to be mayor. Kamla make him mayor. So he go on PNM. And you know about 6 UNC tell me, Anil, that's a terrible loss. Oh my goodness, how could Kamla lose this? Look at what Kamla lost. Run it.
Senator the Honorable Foster Cummins. Actually MP for La Hakata Talparo. And I want to thank Claribel and the members of the Trial Provel in the Angel Harps. Minister of Local Government, the Honorable Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, stated that the population of municipal police should, Mr. President, clauses 4 and 11 of the amendment reference the legitimize the introduction of new firearm.
Look, good riddance, boy. Go and give a condition to Balize House and to all them contractors, Junior Sammy, Kusal, Earth Movers, Calco, and there was one other one I keep forgetting. I don't know. I had to check my memory. All here who I saw dropping material by Balize House, make sure you have the check stubs from Balize House, PNM General Council, which bank account, where you get paid for, how it reach, you know. Because if you're in receipt of government contracts and you're giving donation to the government party in government, that I call kickback. It have investigation coming. Munilal and Jolindon say they go turn Bali's house into a home for the disadvantaged and the homeless. We might have to take that office that they're going and build to for poor people in Port of Spain, for poor people to come from Cedros and Matlock and Princetown, Barrackpore and Maruga and all over to take taxi to come to get help from the PNM. Listen, people, time to unite. This has gone on too long. Our country is crying. Evil pervades, and the evil starts from the top. From Keith Christopher Rowley, the man who boasted about witchcraft. Don't tell me about nothing else. When you are faced with a devil, nothing else can compare. So you may have smaller problems or disagreements, forget that. The devil is in your face, and we must all fight against Rowley, the devil. Good night. We'll go with Rowley. Good night.
Senator the Honorable Foster Cummins. Actually MP for La Hakata Talparo. And I want to thank Clary Ben and the members of the Trial Provincial in the Angel Hobbs.